If I can do it, you can do it, girl. Anybody can be a content creator. Like, anybody can't be a content creator. They're lying to you. Okay? I'm going to tell you the truth. Hello, friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chelsea Vaughn, and today we're going to talk about influencers. Why do I feel like that's a dirty word? Whenever people ask me like what I do for work, I always hesitate because I'm like, do I say influencer? Do I say content creator? Do I say model? What do I say? Because there's a stigma behind all of them, and we're going to talk about it. So I feel like we have to start with how I became an influencer, because I love hearing other people's origin stories. It's just such an interesting job, and every single person that I meet has gotten to this path in a different way. So I love hearing how people got here. So I went to college, graduated, moved to New York, was working in the corporate fashion world, and left to start modeling full time. And that was in 2019. So yeah, there were influencers already. There were definitely YouTubers, but it wasn't so much like a job. I feel like it wasn't like a thing you aspired to quite yet, at least not in my world. And it was never on my radar. It was never a goal of mine. I wasn't like, I really, really want to be a content creator. And then COVID happened. All of our lives changed. And for me, that meant going on reality TV. So a lot of you guys probably are new subscribers and don't actually know me from the show, but I know a lot of you do. Hi, Batch Nation. But I went on The Bachelor in 2021 is when it aired. I can't believe that. It's been 5 years. It was January 2021. Crazy. Time is flying. If you guys want to know about that lore, I've got videos on videos about it. But I went on the show. My life kind of changed overnight, and all of the followers came with it. And so for me, very different, I think, than somebody who built their following from the ground up. And why I make that distinction is because a lot of people followed me for a specific reason. Not to be like, woe is me, but because people followed me for a specific reason and now I don't talk about that reason anymore, it's kind of like always climbing an uphill battle. Like I'm always fighting losing followers. You follow people when they're on a show that's popular at the time, you really like them, and then Instagram algorithm doesn't show you their feed anymore. All of a sudden they pop up and you're like, who the hell is this? Why do I follow this girl? Unfollow. I get it. Influencers that have built their following from like 1,000 to 10,000 to 100,000, and they just keep going and finding their people. Honestly, I'm a little envious of them because they really have like very, very strong communities. And not saying that some of y'all are not ride or dies for me. I know you are. Love you. Especially the fact that so many people have stuck around with me for 5 years. Like, sure, I followed you because of the show, but I really like you and like your personality, like what you stand for. So I stick around because of you. And those messages warm my heart. Like, I love that, love that, love that. But I think when you're building from whoever you are and whatever your brand is from the beginning, and people follow you because of that, it just makes for a really strong community. And I think people are more likely to stick around because you're still doing what they followed you for, and you make content around that. I do think those kind of content creators can probably relate to me in some aspect though, because a lot of this job is kind of always chasing relevancy, whether that's like, I was relevant because I was on this show, or I was relevant because I made this super viral video. We change and evolve as people in life, and some people are always going to stick beside you. They're always going to stay and be like, I ride for you, I'm following you, I'm supporting you. But some people followed you for a specific reason, and then you completely change and pivot in your content, and they don't want to follow you anymore. Like, I have some people I know who I followed for fashion and style and their New York apartments, and then they had a baby, and I'm like, I personally can't relate to that right now because I don't have a baby, and I'm actively running away from having a baby. I'm actively trying not to have a baby right now. So you with your newborn is not super relatable to me. And I don't really care to see it. Like, your baby's cute, but I don't care. Unfortunately, that's what happens in this industry. But that's something that you have to roll with. Whether it's the industry's always changing, the algorithm's always changing, everything is always changing. And you literally have to be adaptable, or you cannot be a content creator. I used to work a 9-to-5 corporate job, and I used to work for a boss. And I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have a boss. I am my own boss. I do have managers, but essentially they work for me. Like, I don't have to have a manager. They take a commission. So like, they don't get fed unless I get fed. But like, other than that, like, they are not the boss of me. Nobody controls me or what I do, what partnerships I take, what I post. So having the freedom and flexibility with your time and with your creativity is probably the best part. So the fact that it's very flexible is great, but if you're someone who needs structure to get things done, this is a job that lacks a lot of structure. And every day is different, which can be fun depending on who you are and your personality. But sometimes that gets really hard because it's really easy to know you're going to the same place every day, you're clocking into the same job, you're sitting at the same cubicle, and you plan the rest of your life around that. Whereas every day, I don't know what's going to pop up. I don't know what meetings, I don't know what emails, I don't know what brand deals, I don't know what events. So it can lend itself to be a little bit chaotic. It's also just like, if you want structure in this job, you have to create it yourself. So I know a lot of content creators that are like, okay, on Monday and Wednesdays, I shoot. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I edit. That is great in theory, and I want to be that person. I would love to be that person. But when Wednesday was a shoot day, and it pops up that you got a brand deal that's due in 3 days and you have to rush it, and then you have an event that was last minute, like, it doesn't really work. You have to move things around a lot. You could try to stick to that structure, but in my experience, it doesn't really hold. Sometimes I feel like I'm in an industry contributing to the death of the planet, not contributing to good things in the world. I am selling stuff to people, and I hate that. All I want to do as a person, as the creator, is put good out into the world and help people. I don't want to contribute to our planet burning. I don't want to contribute to overconsumption. I don't want to contribute to corporations and all these businesses that have shitty values and morals. That part of it, to me, is hard as far as morality. That is very hard to me. That does not come easily to me. I'm not a salesperson by nature. Some people are just naturally incredible at sales. I'm not one of those people. But how I combat it as best I can is I make sure I'm working with brands and companies whose values align with mine as much as I can. As much as I can. It's getting really freaking hard lately. But I try. You see who the brands work with on a regular basis. You see who they pay and who they don't. You see who they invite to their events for free content, and you see who they paid to be at their events. And if all of that's not adding up, and I see you only give out money to certain people that look a certain way, we're not aligned, and I don't want to work with you. I also lean on my management team for advice on this because they see more than I do, especially behind the scenes. They know what other creators are getting paid. They know who has budget and who doesn't. They know when I'm getting lowballed or when somebody's giving me something and trying not to pay me what I'm worth. So that is helpful in that regard. I did also want to touch on the mental toll that this job takes on you because it's real. It is very hard to always have to be on. And this is a job where you always have to be on, no matter what you feel like, no matter what you look like, no matter what's going on in the world, you always have to be on. And that is exhausting. After a while, that is really, really, really draining. And when you yourself and your face are the brand and the product and the job, there's really no running away from it. So it's really hard, especially this week. This YouTube video was supposed to go up days ago, but I was so upset and sad and heartbroken and disgusted by the state of our country currently that I couldn't bring myself to do it. This is the second time I filmed it. Like, I just hate the idea that I'm talking about work and content creation when people are literally dying, like in the streets at the hands of our government. So it's just like things like that. That's just an example. But like, you still have to show up. And the algorithm doesn't really give a what's happening in the world or what's happening in your personal life. You have to be consistent and you have to show up and you have to post. And that is something that I think people don't talk about enough, because one of the hardest parts is just the mental aspect of it. Even if you want to take a break or turn your brain off or not record something, and when I'm like, okay, I'm just not gonna record today, I'm just gonna be present. That's not how it works. Because if you're truly a content creator, like you live, eat, breathe this, everything is content. And I can't turn it off, because when I go do something fun or cool or whatever, I see something that other people would relate to, I'm like, I gotta record this. Like, I gotta film this. I gotta make this video. And you gotta do it when inspiration strikes. And that's part of it. So like, no, you're not off on the weekends. You're not off on holidays. You don't go on vacation. You're always making content. Always. And that's how people get so burnt. So you have to learn to have boundaries with yourself, and you have to figure out what those boundaries are for you. I downloaded an app that blocks me from social media at certain times and certain days, and that helps me when I don't bypass it. But that's what I've been trying to do to kind of help myself a little bit, limit it. But at the end of the day, it's an always job. You're always doing it. That's what I feel like entrepreneurs say about like when they start a business or start an app or whatever, when they run a company. It's a 24/7 thing. So people should know that going in. There's so much content that I'm fed on my For You page from people that are like, if I can do it, you can do it, girl. Anybody can be a content creator. Like, anybody can't be a content creator. They're lying to you. Okay? I'm going to tell you the truth. This is not an easy job. It's definitely easy in some aspects. I'm not over here claiming that it's brain surgery or back-breaking labor. It is not. It's one of the easiest jobs that you can get, for sure. But at the end of the day, it's still a job. And all jobs have hard parts. Anyone can have a phone, anyone can prop it up, and anyone can look at their camera and buy a mic. But everyone doesn't have the ability to be persuasive, to be a personality, to have a personality, to convince people to buy products, to convince people to follow them. You have to be a certain kind of person for people to want to follow you. And everyone doesn't have that. We all have different skills in life. We all have different talents. We all have different things that we're good at. I have shaky hands. I'm not going to be able to be a cardiothoracic surgeon. But some people can't be in front of the camera. They don't have the thing that you need to get people to follow you. And you have to have a point of view. You have to have an opinion. I'm not even talking about an it factor as far as like models and actors. Like, yes, that's helpful. But for content creators, you have to connect with people through a screen. Like, you have to know how to be yourself and authentic and genuine and able to connect with people while on camera. And everyone can't do that. Sorry. Everyone can't. Everyone can try, but everyone can't. And I think some people need to hear that, because this job isn't for everyone, and that's okay. I feel like there's so many other things I want to talk about. Like, there's so many areas and little facets of this job that I could touch on and dig into further. Like, I didn't even talk about hate comments or like becoming a content creator and your actual literal friends and people you know in person seeing your content and being cringe and filming in public, like all the things. Do I need a part 2? You guys let me know. If you have more comments about content creation in general or anything I said, please drop them in the comments. I love talking to you guys. I love hearing what you have to say. Hit the subscribe button. If you guys want to watch any of my other videos, they're all here. I have been definitely a lot more consistent and present on this app since 2026 started, so I am proud of myself. Even though I didn't hit my goal of 4 videos this month, I'm gonna hit it in February. So let me know what you think. Drop a comment, and I will talk to you guys next time. Now we can talk about the shallow parts. So many things for free. Shorts and a little top from Aerie, gifted. This scarf, gifted. This lip gloss that is literally my favorite by Refi, gifted. I was appalled when I realized there was a whole nother version of New York that other people are living in. Sure, there's niches that men do and can do. They can do whatever they want. But deep down, it's for the girls. Fuck ICE, fuck Trump, and fuck you if you voted for this I'm gonna have to cut that out. Please subscribe if you are not one of those people I just mentioned. Just subscribe. Love you, bye.